banana.
Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Amanda.
And we don't have an Emilio today.
No, we don't. But
he's currently living his best life right now with my aunts and uncles and my mom and dad in Hawaii. So yeah. Hope he's having a lot of fun.
He's doing good. I'm sure.
Did they not invite you?
I did get invited. I just don't want to spend $5,000 to go to Hawaii for 4 days or 5 days.
Jesus, that's a ton of money.
We know the real reason, Nick. You're so committed to this podcast. You said, no, I couldn't miss an episode.
That's honestly what it was.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah.
Emilio, on the other hand, was just like, see ya.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't care anymore. I don't think actually he ever cared.
Yeah, so we are remote this time. We're not recording in the studio. You could probably tell because it sounds like shit. So sorry about that. We'll be back in the studio next week.
See, Bobby is actually casting from an empty garage, also known as house.
Yeah, from a tin box.
Yep. I'm in a tin box around the corner, but with a lot more stuff.
And decorations. you know, like a normal person.
Kinda. Yeah.
Although my favorite thing from Bobby's home cam is his shoe cam. And it's like always nice to see that Bobby's got like shoe drip. It's the fucking best.
Yeah, you can see a lot. We were talking about this before the episode started, but my camera is a very wide angle, so you can really see a lot in my
You can see his whole apartment. This is the whole thing.
Much.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of like camera qualities and like angles and stuff, I saw a meme the other day. It's like when you're in your online college class and one of the female classmates has a 4K camera for no reason. And you're like, it's a little weird.
She just needs it for work. That's all.
Yeah, she just needs it.
Both hustles. Yeah, both hustles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've got a bit of an announcement to make for everybody at the top of the show. We are definitely doing DLG Con. It is happening. It is going to be more official. Starting next Sunday is when I'm going to release, and you can buy your ticket to stay there. So what we're doing is for September 30th, which is a Friday, to October 3rd on Monday this year, we're going to be on Lake Travis in Austin, Texas. All of us right now on the show are going to be there. Emilio and Sam are going to be there. There's going to be a bunch of people there. So definitely keep your eye open. You can find out information on Discord, and you can join our Discord using our website, which is dlgaming.net. And then in the Discord, there is like a DLG Con channel that you can check out and look at. And so things are pinned. That's where it's going to be. And so, like I said, next Sunday, when we record the next podcast, that's going to be when it's released and you can purchase your tickets. They kind of range from about $250 like a spot to probably about $450, I think, if you were to get a range. But there is a document. There's all the information that you could find there, and that will be released on Sunday.
Yep. And if you don't know what DLG Con is, it's basically a big get together with all of us. And we mostly play a lot of tabletop games, video games, PC games, of course. But it ends up being a lot of tabletop, a lot of magic, and it's a real good time. So if you can make it, definitely be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to be on a lake this time. So there'll be lake activities, and there's a pool and a hot tub, and it's going to be awesome.
Sounds like a fun time to me. Shit. And I'll be there. This is the first DLG Con I'm going to.
Yeah.
Is weed, what's the status of, because I was just in Jamaica.
Oh, it's illegal as fuck. Yeah.
No, it's illegal as fuck.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Minimum 10 years in jail. No parole. No.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe.
It is rough in Texas.
They actually shoot your legs off.
Shoot your legs. You'll never smoke weed with legs again.
They throw you out with the hogs. No. Yeah. Speaking of hog, what they do have a lot of that's absolutely phenomenal is barbecue and good music and just cool shit. So it should be an awesome time.
But no weed. Trade-offs everywhere. I guess there's trade-offs wherever you go, right? So.
No weed yet.
Okay,
or at least we legally cannot say there is.
Okay. Legally, there's no weed there.
Legally, there's no weed.
There's never been and there will never be weed.
Exactly. We're all good good agnostic people, right? Hashtag agnostic on our channel. That's what we're selected as. All right, but
All right.
moving forward, because this is a video game podcast, so get into it with On the Radar, which are games that have been brought to our attention. Bobby, if you want to lead it off, because you've got quite a bit.
I do have quite a bit. First one I'm going to lead off with is called Trek to Yomi. And this game I'm a little conflicted about. It looks amazing. It's got this black and white samurai movie style, and it's a side scroller game. Um, but I'm always a little wary because all these side scrollers look amazing. Then you play them and the mechanics just aren't really there. So I don't know. But it really does look incredible. I mean, this looks like Seven Samurai right here. It's just a lot more cinematic. Even games I'd say, like, oh, this is cinematic, they don't really look cinematic. This one does. Looks very much like a movie. So I was just kind of struck by that. They don't really go into detail on the Steam page on what exactly this game has. I think under the bullet points they list like some sort of innovative gameplay, but they don't say exactly what that is. But yeah, and it's good, like stylish combat based on like samurai combat. So I don't know. It could be all right, but I just thought it looked amazing.
It looks
Uh,
cool, and I like that I mean, the whole game seems to be in black and white, which I think is kind of a cool concept, but they're using light in such a way that's really showing everything going on,
mhm.
right? And I think that's pretty cool. Coming May 5th
Yeah.
is when
Yeah,
it's.
May 5th. I don't think they have a price yet. Oh, they do have a price. Okay. It is 17.99 right now on sale. But like I said, this game could come out and the gameplay could just not be there. I've seen that happen too many times where something just looks incredible and then it's just not fun to play. So hopefully it is, because it'd really be nice to have the graphics match the gameplay. The
Published by
oh yeah,
sorry.
published by Devolver
Dev-
Digital.
Yeah, probably gonna, you roll the dice on there. Might more often than not a pretty good roll. So I don't know.
Yeah, and Flying Wild Hog is listed as one of the developers, and I'm trying to remember what they made. Shadow Warrior. That's right, Shadow Warrior. That's why I recognize that developer. And I was a big fan of the Shadow Warrior game. So yeah, hopeful. I'm hopeful. All right, who's next?
I think this reminds me a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, by the way. Because like one of the things that you can do when you play Ghost of Tsushima is play in cinematic mode, and they make it black and white. And
Mhm.
yeah, this reminds me a lot of it. So I really
Yeah,
hope this
I was
actually
just thinking
sees
old
commercial
samurai
success.
movies, like Seven
Yeah,
Samurai or something. But I don't know.
such a good
I'm
movie.
always a little. I don't really like the whole comparison of like movies to video games, though. I feel like when they try too hard to make the connection, it just doesn't
Even if
really
you're
serve
comparing
any
art
purpose.
styles.
No, just when they start using language like a cinematic experience, it's like stop trying to make video games movies. They're
Well,
Yeah,
not.
no, that's
Bobby,
yeah.
that's just because you're a bit of a cinema aristocrat, right? So just
Am I? I
He's a
watched
cinema
Suburban Commando last
connoisseur.
night. Check my letterbox, man.
I've reviewed over 7,000 movies.
I watched a lot of movies, but they aren't good. Most of them aren't.
They're all French.
Well, I don't know, I guess instead of a foodie, you'd be what, a cine? That sounds kind of weird, though.
A
But
It's either
cineast.
you like sinning or you like movies. Which one?
a
why not
sin.
both? Or a
Yeah,
cine?
a
In
cine. That's
Cinnabon.
Whatever.
that's a word. Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
All right, Amanda, what's Star Citizen? No way. In
So,
2021?
yeah. I never knew about Star Citizen. I know that it's been in alpha for like 8 years, and that a lot of people have gone in and out of playing it. They did release just a big patch, and it seemed to kind of fuck shit up. I went to play it for an hour today, and it was like a massive patch, and then I don't know, from what it sounded like my friends were struggling to like get it to consistently play. So clearly still fucking buggy and a lot of shit. But like I said, it's the first time I ever have honestly heard of it. So I played it just a little bit for about like an hour or two with my friend SOCOM, and it was it was so awesome and definitely kind of game breaking buggy, but like just so fucking cool. There's so much stuff that you can explore and see, and there's all these things that go into it. I like that it's a like realistic simulator and as realistic as one could be of like flying around in space. I thought that was really cool, and it definitely was more fluid moving through the atmosphere than even like No Man's Sky is these days. um and so I don't know, I'm really curious and hope that this can actually develop, but it's not promising when it's taken 8 years and it's still in alpha. So I would like to hope that this though will become fully fleshed out because there's so much potential in this game and it is just so cool. And I like how realistic in ways it was. Like I went to get into an elevator to take me up to or to take me from outside of space into the ship, and I died because I wasn't lining it up right, and I kept essentially just smacking my head into the side of the ship, which in real life, if you did that, you'd get a concussion and break your suit, which is what happened.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, so I love that. I thought that was so fucking cool, but at the same time, seeing as it was a bug that launched me into space in the first place, I was kind of like, this is hilarious, but at the same time, what the fuck? I was just minding my own business in the ship. Next thing you know, I'm getting smacked around like outside. I'm trying to hurriedly get back in and just die. Like that that's goofy, but it's so beautiful. Like there's this massive city that you start out in, and you can take trams and trains or whatever from one part of the city to the other, and just visually it is one of the most top-notch like space games I've seen graphically and visually, but it's got a lot of work still for sure. But it was cool. I don't know. So it's on my radar because I'd like to come back and keep playing it, but I did play it enough to know that it's got so much promise to it still. Just
What
What's
am I?
can we do a Nostradamus here? I mean, I know everyone's asking this question, but like here, right now, definitively, what are the chances Star Citizen releases? And then we'll play this episode if it does or doesn't.
I
You
don't
talking about
know.
a
uh
1.0 release?
Yeah, 1.0, it's out. They say, yep, this is the game, the space MMO you've all been waiting for.
I think it'll be in 10 years. 10
You think
years.
10 years?
Yeah, in 10 years. Not a total of
Okay.
10 years. I mean 10 years on top of the 8 that it's taken to get to it now. Yeah,
Jesus
so
Christ.
18 years. Yeah. This
We'll
will be
get
a
God, and
multi-generational game, not because of something great like the Star Wars franchise, but because they just, I don't know,
Or
take fucking forever to develop it.
you have a number, Nick?
I think we're gonna see it like Christmas time next year. Like it's
Wow.
gonna be like Star Citizen finally doesn't implode on use, and here we are. Like I don't think we're gonna see it anytime soon.
I mean, the
Okay.
game's in a playable state for the most part. I played a little bit of it.
It is.
Daisy
Yeah.
was in a playable state for 4 fucking years and never got official release until another 3 years after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those endless works in project, works in process, works in progress. Whew, oh boy. All right, nailed it on the third time. I'm going to split the difference here and I'll say 5 years. We got 10 years, we got next year. I'll just say five. One of us has to be right there.
There we go.
Is it
Covering all of our
Price is Right
bases.
rules?
Yeah, sure, why not?
What is the Price is Right?
We
Never
make
mind. I don't have to know. Don't get into it.
All right,
What's
yeah, get into the
Loot
weeds.
River? What are you looting? What are you looting in this river?
Oh yeah, so Loot River is a. I was like Loot River. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh yeah, it's my game that I put on there. So Loot River is this really cool top-down roguelike dungeon crawler roguelike. I saw a streamer play it, and he was describing the game as like a mixture of a live puzzle game, along with like the Binding of Isaac and some other like other roguelikes that require like quick time events and stuff.
Wait, did we talk about this? The Tetris fighting game?
Did we?
It
I don't
seems
know.
familiar.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Sorry, Nick.
Yes.
Go on.
um yeah, so it looks pretty interesting to me. I think it's something that it comes out in fucking 2 days. It seems to be a finished project. This is something that I think would be perfect for the handheld. What's it called?
Steam
The
Click.
the Steam Deck. Like I think it's perfect for that. And the reason I say that is that it's a game that requires like quick movements and everything, but it's a small play area, like as far as like what area of the screen you're looking at. So I don't know. I think the game looks awesome. I think it's a game that I would play once it releases. I just want to see the price as well. Like if this is more than $20, I don't know if I'd spend that on it.
All right. No price just yet. Comes out
Yeah,
in 2 days, May 3rd.
correct. Hmm.
Hmm. All right. Okay, I've got another one here. My Time at Sandrock. So the title, of course, sounds like My Time at Porsche, which is a game that I have. They gave it out for free on Epic Games, so of course I got it, but I have not played it yet, and I really need to because it is like a 3D adventure, Stardew Valley. I know Chi played it for a while. I think she enjoyed it, but I've always meant to check out My Time at Porsche. They've had a bunch of DLC for it, but it looks like they're finally making a completely new game called My Time at Sandrock, which looks to be the same thing, but it takes place in the desert this time. Maybe there's a few more new things about it. I'm not sure.
It looks
Awesome.
pretty cool. I like the animation quality on it.
Hmm.
I do too, and I
Yeah,
think it's cute.
yeah, it looks good. I enjoy those types of games. I pretty much hit a wall with Stardew Valley, though. I achieved just about everything I'm going to do in that game. But
Yeah.
this one comes out May 26th, not too far away, and it is going to be in early access. No price point just yet.
Why did
Okay.
they choose the desert? What do you raise in the desert? Cattle? What else?
Hate.
Snakes?
I don't
Hate?
know. All the
Cacti.
heat just
Prickly
gets you
pear.
mad.
You raise
Prickly.
prickly pear so that way you can make prickly pear margaritas. That's why.
Okay, that's the end game of my time at Sandra.
That's the
A bunch of
they're really
thorns.
good.
Well, what you're basically growing, dude, is an endless supply of metal. So that way, then you could just build a bunch of shit. Cause see, yeah, they're mining a bunch of stuff. That's what you do.
Now, this game does have online co-op. Does My Time at Porsche have online co-op? I don't think it did. Is that a new
Hmm.
development?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about either one of these games.
Okay. No, My Time at Porsche did not have online co-op.
Oh, then I
So
guess it's a really
that is
big
a big
deal.
feature in this new game. Wow.
Awesome.
Look at my time at Porsche. It's so nice and green. You can grow turnips. I don't know. I'm just not sold on the sandy part of my time at Sandrock, guys. I don't know.
Saying that because you come from the wooded area where everything is green, man. Like I feel that, but there's desert magic, all right. Just like they say in Dune. Okay, there's
Desert
desert
power.
magic. There's desert
Desert
power.
magic.
There is, dude.
Okay.
There
True.
really is.
Don't make fun of the desert.
Yeah, well, it'll kill you.
That's the
It
funny thing.
will.
The
So
desert will fucking kill you
everything
and
about
not care.
it.
Wow.
Yeah. So speaking of things that will kill you, I put Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodhunt on my on the radar. This came out on April 27th. So recently, it's got mostly positive reviews, and it's a free-to-play battle royale. But it's one that's a bit more. There were elements to this that kind of reminded me of I know it's not Left 4 Dead. Wow, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Anyway, whatever. You're
Back for
climbing.
dead.
No.
Mhm.
No. But you can like climb different sides of the building and kind of do more of like a stealthy way of killing everybody in this battle royale. But I really love that there's a lot of customizability. You can there's different swords and guns and like just different ways you can go about it. You can sneak around in the shadows and then just like rip people's throats out as they walk by and all kinds of
Oh,
shit. This
Hunt
game,
Pumpkin Town. Hunt Pumpkin Town.
it's
That's the
not
game.
Hunt Pumpkin Town. No, it's like it's not Dead by Daylight. It's I don't. You know what? I'm blanking. I can't believe it. It came out in February, the second one. We all
Dying
played
Light.
it. Thank you, Dying Light. I was like dying something. But anyway, there's elements of like hopping over shit and climbing things that bring me kind of back to that, but in a battle royale setting. I think that that's really cool, and the fact that this is free, that's dope. They have supernatural powers that you can have. I don't know what a lot of them are. I just know that there's quite a few, I guess. And so that's kind of neat. And yeah, this game looks very fascinating to me, very like gory and violent, but pretty fucking fun.
No,
Well,
what's that
free to
banner at the
play.
top that says require a third-party account, and then it says Shark Knob? That's pretty cool that they do that now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Shark Mob. Haven't heard of that. Okay. All right. I got one more here. I was hesitant to put this put this in the notes, but I thought I'd do it anyway. House of the Dead remake. So if you're old enough to remember this in the arcades, House of the Dead was one of those games with the guns
What?
attached where you shoot things. I love those games. I played so much Virtua Cop, Time Crisis, Area 51, all that stuff.
What was your favorite?
Definitely Virtua Cop 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Mine was
But
Time Crisis too.
oh yeah, they made a lot of that. Time Crisis was the one with the pedal too. That was pretty
Yes.
cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a nice feature. But I just played so much Virtua Cop, and I played a lot of Area 51 as well. But House of the Dead, I played a little bit of it, and the reason that this game was always significant to me was this is the very first game I ever pirated ever in my entire life. I downloaded it from an FTP server. This is how long ago this was. And I was so paranoid. Like, I loaded the game up, played a little bit of it, like looking over my shoulder as if the cops would bust in any moment. And then shortly after, deleted it out of fear that I was going to get caught. So I always, whenever I see this game, I always think of that.
I thought you were
They
gonna say shortly after the cops showed up, and I'm like, oh
and then
god.
they did show up. Yeah. They kind of redid this game not too long ago in a great game called Typing of the Dead, where it's you practice your typing, you type words, and they shoot the zombies there. But I always, yeah, you wouldn't steal a car, would you? You wouldn't download a car.
You wouldn't. That's what it is. You wouldn't download a
You wouldn't
car.
download a car.
Bum bum
Uh,
chugga,
I
bum
can't.
bum chugga. What was the metal music in the background of those commercials?
Oh,
It
I
sounded
can't
so epic.
remember. Yeah,
Wow.
it did.
Like you wouldn't steal a car, and I was like, well, maybe I
I'm
would.
sure
if
it
it's
was that like James Bond-esque kind of thing though, like that vibe with the music. Do you remember that?
I
I think it
remember it
was.
being like early 2000s, like that weird mix of like metal techno thing. That's what I remember from that
yeah,
commercial.
yeah, like it
Yeah.
was on the Matrix or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, we got it. We got it queued up. We're gonna hear
Okay,
it.
sorry, just
Hell
briefly,
yeah,
if
let's
it's
play this
okay. Okay. Piracy, it's a crime.
Is it?
Oh, we can't hear the audio.
Oh, you guys can't hear.
No,
Fuck.
that's sad. Wow, had us queued up and
There
everything.
goes all my hopes
Oh
and
my
dreams.
god, there's like a
Oh.
little siren in the background. It's like wee 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 wee. It's so cool.
Oh, I guess the stream can't, so we can't.
Oh, yeah,
so if
they
you
can.
want to play it, so everyone else can hear it.
Oh yeah, everyone else can hear it, but
Just imagine.
you wouldn't steal a handbag.
You know what? There's plenty of people that would. But
Okay, sorry.
And
You
we'll
wouldn't
talk about
steal
the-
a movie?
Wow. Yeah.
I'd steal a movie. Like at the minimum, I would steal a movie. I don't know about a handbag. That's like someone's property, but
Yeah.
that's like somebody's property.
I was surprised at the price that they put this game at, though. House of the Dead remake for $22.49 seems a little steep. You can get a bundle deal with the remake of Panzer Dragoon. You are nostalgic for that
Oh,
game.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that's
I haven't
That's
heard
quite
that
a bit
game in a
more.
while.
yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, okay. So that's all I wanted to bring up about that. I was surprised to see that remake, honestly.
It's pretty interesting to say the least. What about games that you guys did play this week?
Oh, you mean like some of our
Yeah.
highlights?
Yeah, of course.
Ah, well, I'll get started. I went down memory lane and played a little bit of some Death Road to Canada. Had to use it off of Parsec though, which is like a third party thing of sharing your computer with like other people in order to play the remote play kind of shit.
Oh.
So, and honestly, I don't know if it's. I mean, I know my laptop, and I've been talking about wanting to get a new computer pretty soon. I don't think my laptop is that horrible though. But according to Parsec, it's absolute trash because I struggled to play Death Road to Canada, and I was like, really? Yesterday I played Star Citizen, and I can't play Death Road to Canada today.
well,
Like,
the graphical
so-
fidelity on this game is pretty intense.
yeah, It's
Uh,
too much to handle. That's like, just like Binding of Isaac, too much. But no,
Oh, jeez.
so but no, it was great to just even play with other people and being able to have four of us all playing this locally together, even though we're all remote from each other, you know. And I love Death Road to Canada. That game is so great because it's all the elements of Oregon Trail that I love, but all of the like brutality and ridiculousness of the Binding of Isaac to me. And so I love it. I love it on Switch, which is how I played it, and playing it on the computer is pretty great too. I don't know why I had such an issue with Parsec, but I did. So if anybody has any great tips, I would definitely appreciate that. But it was still a lot of fun, and it's still a game that I definitely recommend because
Did you
Death Road to Canada is just good fun.
did you get to Canada?
Yeah, did
So
you get to Canada?
I kept disconnecting and reconnecting, so a lot of it was that I was just watching my buddies Tag Loro and then his friend Joe play, and they straight up made it to 1 day until Canada. You typically
Oh
get,
no.
I think it's want to say it's like 40 some day. I can't. You do start off with quite a long time until you're gonna get to Canada, and they made it 1 fucking day, and they had to deal with a siege, and they were all fucking dying, and they all died very slowly, like,
Oh
waiting for
no.
each other. It was like, oh no.
So what happens when
Uh,
you get to Canada? Do they just let you in? Are we are we
yeah,
like
because it's a
friendly?
zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse. Yeah, so you get
But
in, and it's all. I
can't
actually no, I'm talking out of my ass. I don't truly know because I always die within 5 days of Canada. It's sad.
I'm just
Tough,
saying we
tough, but
don't know
it's
that
good.
Canada exists for sure. It might be like a problem, but it's fine.
You get there, it's even worse. You're like, oh
I'm
fuck.
surprised Steam Remote Play didn't work for you. I haven't heard of that having too many problems.
It's so weird. It was so weird to me, dude. Yeah, because I'm just like, I really don't think my computer's that bad. Like, it just chugs a little with VR, but it's a laptop, so of course it does. But it should have ran Death Road to Canada.
Don't worry about it, Days. There are people that get the PS5 to completely shit itself with Binding of Isaac. So
It's true.
yeah.
$14, is that worth it?
I would argue. So to me, I think it's well worth like a Nintendo. It seems like a perfect console and like Nintendo Switch game when you have a bunch of people because it is that couch co-op that's fantastic. So if you can get a bunch of people to play it with you, then definitely. But I also feel like it is just fun to have. I think $15 is the max I could pay for it. But if it goes on sale for like $10 or cheaper, just fucking pull the trigger. Definitely worth it.
Nice.
Hmm. Okay.
I was gonna play with you guys, but when I saw you all in Discord, I had already
You're
my
already in
time.
Canada. You don't need to
I
get
was
there.
already in. I didn't need to
True.
go.
True, but I mean, maybe you wanted to do a road trip with your good best buds from Florida to Canada, though. You know what I mean? Like you'd be basically going home. Fly out there, zombie apocalypse hits, and then you make it back home safely, and then your buds, you save them.
That sounds like
There
a
you
fun
go.
time. I had already
And
taken
you
two
should have
gummies,
popped
so
in.
sorry.
Oh well,
Sorry.
that's true.
I'm a
That's true.
busy guy over here. My people will get back to your people, and we'll go to Canada
Mhm.
together.
Just like about Catan, I got it. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's a very exclusive man.
Mhm. All
All
right.
right.
I had a
What
pretty
did you
good
play
week.
this week, Bobby?
Um, I played a lot of stuff actually. I got a lot of gaming in, some of it good, some of it bad. So I said I wasn't going to play Back for Blood anymore, but I did. Kind of running into a wall here on Act 3 in Nightmare. Man, it's rough out there. Have not been able to get a good group going in quick play. Really got to experiment with the cards more and just figure stuff out. But Amanda graciously gifted me the Tunnels of Terror DLC, so now I can check out the new characters and don't have to rely on other people to get into the hives. So I'm excited about that. Although I'm having this weird connection problem, and I'm hoping it's just like a thing, like oh the servers are down or something. But I don't know. I'm getting this thing where I can't sign in and connect to my profile server, whatever that is.
Hmm.
So it only allows me to play in offline mode. So I don't know. Hopefully that fixes itself. Otherwise, I've tried to look it up, of course, on Google, and all the fixes are bullshit. But we'll see what happens with that. But I did get to play a lot of Sea of Thieves this week and really enjoying that game. What I'm noticing about Sea of Thieves, it's a commitment. It's a real time commitment. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I
very
guess you
much
could
so.
because you got to run back. You go out and you do the quest and you got to run it back, you know? So most people go out there and they do a bunch of quests and they got a big haul and they take it in and they cash in at the very end. I get, and you could do it the other way around, you know, run out, do a quest, turn it in, but you're really just adding a lot of extra mileage and a lot of extra time. Um, but yeah, I've been having a good game or a good time with that. I can tell like it's going to be a long relationship with Sea of Thieves. I really do enjoy that game. I'm at a point with it where I don't really know a lot. I'm hopping into games and people are like, "Are you a pirate legend?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, I'm no legend, but I don't know. I feel like I can do pretty well." And- But
You're like, I can
apparently,
shoot a gun at a skeleton. So
apparently, that means I've later figured out that you have achieved rank 50 in all the emissaries or whatever they're called. And
correct.
then that enables you, because they just had like a new season or whatever where there's a new emissary called Athena. I think emissary is the name for it, but I could be messing that up. But there's a new one called Athena that everybody wants to do. So you have to be a pirate legend in order to do that. And yeah, when people find out that I'm not, they're pretty quick to leave the game. So
They're
anyway.
like, get the fuck out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been having a good time with it, even though I've had some frustrating runs and I'm still kind of figuring out the game. So, I mean, if anybody wants to teach me, I'm out there. Let's do it. Sea of Thieves.
I should
Boy,
hop on
that
when you
was
play
an
this.
expert
Me and
play.
Leslie can probably play with you.
Yeah,
I
that'd
I
be cool.
I, I was actually like 3 or 4 levels away from being pirate legend. I just needed to get the shipping company like rep up to 50, and it's like
Hmm.
the most annoying one because you're just transporting chickens and shit. But me and my
Yeah.
friends used to play Sea of Thieves so much.
Unfortunately, my progress did transfer over from Xbox to Steam. I was real happy about that.
Good.
And yeah, man, I can see it takes a lot of time just to build up the rep with those different factions. But I'm kind
The
of
grind fun? Is it like, or is it a chore to get to 50?
no,
No,
it's
I mean
fun.
now it isn't. It used to be a chore because you only had 3 mission types, but now it's like there's actual a lot more content. Like
There's
I,
so
I
much
played
to
day
do.
one. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
so much to do now.
there's so much to do. I mean, there's these veils and tall tales and like just all these different things you can do. It's just it all takes a lot of time, and that's where I'm running into trouble. I would really like to check out one of the bigger ships. I mean, I feel like I got the sloop down, the 1 to 2 person boat, and I played a little bit on the next step up. I think is the galleon. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the
The
biggest one.
galleon's the biggest one. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
four
biggest
people,
one.
I think. Yeah, I
Okay.
think unless they added a new one.
No, that's the biggest one still. I haven't played on that ship yet. I'd like to check that one out. But
It's definitely like a team game at that point. You're just like,
yeah. And it's tough
yeah,
when you're queuing up with randos. You got a better shot of just joining a sloop with 1 to 2 people and just getting one person who's down to see it through for a little bit. But
mhm.
when you try to get four strangers together, like that doesn't happen very often. People leave real quickly, or stuff happens.
I think
Yeah.
this, if you have three of your friends on a ship, isn't this like the funnest game of all time? Like, people tell stories where it's like they were actually on a pirate ship in real life, you know? Like, because of the open world and all the stuff that you can run into in the PvP with other people come past, you know?
It's a
Yeah,
blast if it lines up right. Yeah.
there's a bunch of things now that so like back in the day, PvP was really subjective. Like it was incredibly difficult to catch up to a ship if they just got any sort of ahead of you. And so now there's a bunch of things to prevent that from happening. Or not, it's not, and they're not really cheap either. Like one of them is like a chain cannonball where like you shoot and then it shoots like a harpoon into the other people's ship and your ship attaches to theirs. And the other thing that people were asking for like so long was the ability to shoot people's masts down, which is like what holds up the sails. And now like the combat is way just way more fluid, I guess you would say, and it's a
Yeah,
lot
plus,
less.
well, they added the Reaper thing too, so you can run a flag on your ship and get extra bonus points with that faction. but it also puts your icon on the map and basically paints a target on you.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so a lot of people do that because the rewards are pretty ridiculous, but it does lead to a lot of action. You can expect to get attacked quite a bit
I
more.
I played so long ago. Do you still like just respawn on your ship in 10 seconds? That's the thing I didn't really like. Like you're in PvP and then people just like keep
I
respawning
think
and keep respawning.
I think you
It's
do, but
longer than 10 seconds. But if
yeah.
your ship sinks, then you don't, obviously.
The other thing is that I think there's a new thing now that you can prevent people from spawning. Which like I forget what it is, but yeah, like I said, there's something that you can use to prevent people from respawning. Like you can delay the time, and I'm pretty sure that they also implemented the the what is it called? Oh my god! Like, isn't there a thing to revive people now too? I can't
Well, you
remember.
can
There's
revive people. Like if they're knocked
yeah,
down, you have a period of time where you can revive them before
yeah.
they disappear. But yeah, I mean, there's been. I think I played the game right when it came out too, and I was like, it's not. It needs more direction. It needs more things to do, and it needs like a more clearly defined objectives and all this stuff. And it has all that now. The game's expanded so much; it's really in a good spot.
That's what I
I look.
keep hearing, and I want to get my friends to play it. Um, I don't know. I might join you. Me and Leslie might join you.
All right,
So
let's do it. Sea of Thieves. Open
Looking
let's
invitation.
forward
do.
to Bobby getting legendary pirate just tattooed right across the forehead, both eyebrows,
Pirate legend.
I
Oh,
funny
yeah.
enough, I so I played some squad, and we're talking about playing games with friends. Um, man, did I experience like a glow up story for one of my friends. So he like in the beginning he was like really intimidated about the game. He's like the one that got me to start playing again because he asked me to teach him. And he got like really intimidated about the game. He was like, it's kind of hard. Like it's very detailed. There's a lot of things to learn and everything. And I'm like, you know, you're more than welcome to return it. Blah blah blah. And he's like, no. I'll give it a try. Right. I come back like 6 days later and I haven't played with him. And he's like, I've been playing every night, at least like 2 to 3 hours a night. And he's like, I figured everything out. And like, I play a position, or when I play this game, I play like the heavy weapons guy, which is known as a hat, or the heavy anti tank guy. And he's like, that's my favorite position now too. I love it. And he's like blowing up tanks left and right. And I'm like, just like shedding a tear a little bit. I'm just like, oh God, I'm so proud. Like it's nice.
It's
That
too bad
sounds
he's playing
fun.
the same position as you, though. I mean,
Yeah.
So that position actually, it's really complimentary. So we'll switch off on who plays it.
mhm.
So in this game, being a normal person is actually still somewhat supportive. So everybody can res everybody, right? You just have two bandages. However, when it comes to a rifleman, because what he'll usually do is, depending on what country you're playing as, a standard rifleman can have like a sight, like a 4x sight, and he's like, I can't play this game unless I have a sight. Um, but as far as a rifleman, what you can do is if you follow around a hat, you can drop a bag of ammo down, and they'll have more rockets to shoot, like vehicles and stuff. It's actually like it's something that when you play with randos, it doesn't really happen unless you get somebody that's like really juiced to play, and they'll actually like listen to you and stuff. But most things in this game, like if you shoot like a tank, like a main battle tank, like an Abrams or something, what ends up happening is like it requires way more than just one or two like rocket launcher shots. So if it's you and like and a rifleman, then it kind of like levels the playing field a little bit. But once again, it just like, everything takes time. Everything takes like supplies and stuff. So it's it's fun. This is a game that I ended up playing with. Who did I end up playing with in our community? I think it was like Diddy and a couple other people, and they actually liked it. So yeah.
Nice.
Very
All right.
nice. Um, Speaking of nice, titties are nice. And I played a bit of some Tales of Nadia because you guys were like, somebody needs to finish this game, and I didn't realize how much of a task that
Oh
was because
wow,
I
dude.
put in almost 8 hours and it's
Are you telling
21%.
me that Nadia is hard to finish?
Yeah, dude, she's super fucking demanding. Whoever she is, I still don't even know.
I haven't met this bitch once.
I haven't even met her, but I'm looking for her treasure, that's for sure.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
I don't know. The game's interesting. Where I'm at with it is I have to get a kayak and kayak across the river, and it explores and opens up a whole new region of this game. And I'm just like, how long is this game? This game is so long. So it's gonna take me a while to finish it, but it's fun, and I don't know. I still enjoy playing it. The puzzles are pretty solid. And the gameplay is just fun. So I don't know. And I'm so
The gameplay is
intrigued.
fun.
The gameplay
It is
is
though.
fun.
Well, like it is. Well, it is like with the different puzzles and shit, and just kind of like the crafting in it. Like you start memorizing, like, oh, okay, if I wanted to make like an alloy shovel, like I need to gather these things.
So
The
is it? Are
least
you telling me
favorite
like this
part.
is like a porn Minecraft? Like you're making shovels and shit? Like what's going on here?
I'm crafting, yeah, I'm crafting and I'm
Oh
making
jeez.
stuff and I'm making like rock bombs to blow up and open up different parts of the cave so that way then I could take two girls and fuck them in it. Like it's wild. Like
Whenever we talk about this game, like we never like this actual sex scenes is the worst part about it, I feel like, you
it
know?
is. Yeah, it's like I'm almost kind of like, okay, skip through it. Like I want to get back to
Yeah.
figuring out where this treasure came from
Who's
and
Nadia?
how the pirates left here and who's Nadia. Yeah. I
Yo,
just
who the
like, okay,
fuck is Nadia?
get all this porn shit out of here. I'm done with it. I'm done getting this weird like masturbation thing from the doctor. I'm ready for the caves. I'm ready to explore. So I don't know. I still enjoy it, but it's taking so long, man. It's just like, damn, 8 hours in and maybe 20, 21%.
What's the time to beat on this game? Can we look that up?
I think last time we looked it up, it was 40 hours. But I'll
40?
look it up again. Yeah.
40.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ Almighty!
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's also a number I just might have made up. Main story, 24 and a half hours. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That's so long.
It's
What?
such
is
a long
Oh,
game.
wait.
I don't think
It's
that's the right game. Nadia
wait.
was here.
Sorry, Nadia
Is that the
was here.
prequel?
You might
Yeah.
Treasures
just.
of Nadia.
I don't think Google wants to show you this. You may just have
Nope.
to go
Okay,
to.
I got it. The main story takes 30 hours. If you do the main and extras, then it's 35 hours. And after all styles, roughly on average, it takes people 22 and a half hours to beat 32 and a half hours to beat this game.
Jeez.
Is that counting
32
watching
hours.
all the shitty sex scenes though? Like you can skip them pretty quickly.
That's a good point. Okay, well here we go. They even have that. They have on this. I'm looking at how
Time to
long to
beat with or
beat.com.
without porn.
Well, how long to beat.com shows that a rushed play through the main story is 30 hours. A rushed play through the main story plus all
Wow.
the little extras is 35 hours. So it's 5 hours of porn, is what that tells me.
Did this game need to
Jesus.
be this long?
I don't know.
I really
I
don't think
want
so.
to know how much money they've made. Like, I honestly want to know, like, how much money went to development. Like, what's their profit margin for this game?
Probably a shit ton, dude.
Probably.
We should get
They
on the
rated
Twitter
so
and
high.
say, hey, we need a GDQ speed run of Tales of Nadia this summer. Coming this
That's
summer.
right, yeah. Because I need to know what the hell is happening with Nadia, dude.
What is, you know
Like-
how there's like, never mind, that was a terrible joke in my head. Terrible joke.
And Claire, am I ever gonna get to fuck Claire? She's like the redhead Lara Croft.
I don't think so.
I don't know,
Probably
man.
not.
They have a bunch of porn games.
Probably
NLT media people. The next one is the Genesis Order. Looks like another harem game.
I feel like that's every porn
Oh,
game.
true.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't think porn games are just like this is your wife. It's like here's your harem of 80 ladies.
No, but they do have interesting story and shit in the Treasures of Nadia, man. Like the main character is fucking the mom and the daughter, and he's telling the mom like, "We should stop doing this because I really like your daughter, and this doesn't seem fair to her." And then the mom's like, "Oh no, she's fine. I know you're giving it to her good, so she's happy." Like what?
Jesus Christ.
It's great. I approve it.
Dude, Great storyline. We're here for the story.
Yeah, I'm
Treasures
here
of
for.
Nadia.
Well, you know I'm gonna look for the story.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
exactly.
there's
Yeah.
something. It's a train wreck, but man, I am here for it. I'm sitting there with my popcorn being like, what the fuck is this goofy ass shit? You know what I mean? Like, it is great.
This is the
So
goofiest
dumb.
shit I've ever seen in my life.
Bobby
So
just
fucking
looks so
goofy.
embarrassed right now that he's
Yeah,
on webcam and we're talking about Treasures of Nadia. Like,
yep. Yep, we are. Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to
It's
reality,
hilarious.
Bobby.
Well, it won't be the last time we'll hear about this game, I'm sure.
No, wait till
No,
they
I
come out
want
with Treasures of
to finish
Nadia
it. I'm,
too.
I'm not. Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about it anymore until I finish it. So it's gonna take me a while. But
Okay.
wanted an update because that was some of my highlights. That and Demeo. I'll just get into that. I played Demeo as well for a while, and this game is great. The books are gonna be coming. New books are gonna be coming out soon. I don't remember when, and I think it's 2 of them. But honestly, there's so much content there for the first 3 books that you get with Demeo, and it's just a fun game with friends. And I love playing it with different people and different groups of them because everybody does have kind of like a different play style. And if I play the bard, then it's very much like the same healer trope of you've got 2 buddies that are going in opposite directions, and you're just like, wait, baby, come back.
Don't leave me.
Yeah, like I have to buff you. But no, it's such a fun game both in VR and just the PC edition. It's total D&D, and I just love it. I love playing more of it, and if anybody wants to play it, you hit me up because yeah, this game's great.
I saw you
I
guys all playing that in Discord too. Was there any sick moments?
There was a lot of just moments of trying to keep everybody together. It's like
Trying to
it
Was there
rile
was like
everybody.
tension?
herding cats. Yeah, but you know what though? It ended up working out. Like I don't remember anybody like getting massively fucked up and dying. Like we did always end up coming back to each other. So it worked out fine, but it was like, yeah. It's just funny when that kind of happens. And only when you're the bard cuz then you're just like, "Well, all right, I guess you don't want to buff. Peace out."
You know what's funny is like this game reminds me obviously of like real D&D, and like I think we had one of our like best sessions last week, like yesterday. Um, does the character customization for this, like, is there any at all, or is like you just play these
No,
set
not
characters?
really. You're playing the set characters, but you know what I'm finding the best of this game is just how there's quite a few of us, and I've seen a bunch of different people do it of actually like role playing and getting into it, which makes it for very fun and like feeling like a D&D session that has less of a commitment than D&D would, but you get to have that kind of element if you like, and if you are somebody that's more theatrical and shit, to like have fun and role play with these characters that are already designed. And so it's been a blast with that.
I want to do that with Bobby and like Vermintide when he plays the dwarf. Like that's what I want to do. But we'll see. This game looks awesome, man. Every time I see it, it just looks like a work of art. Like like how everything works and everything. So
Yeah, and Demeo really has this way of making you feel like you're genuinely in the basement of like all your friends playing a board game with them, which is so cool because yeah, if you like glance out and like zoom out your camera, you can see like arcade games in the background and like darts, and it just feels like it's a game room. And in VR it's even more obviously immersive and shit, which is exciting and cool. I haven't been able to see if you could actually like play your friends in darts and shit though, but we don't even want to do that. It's like we got Demeo, you know what I mean? Like let's run a dungeon. Like that's what we came here to do. We're not here
yeah,
to play fucking darts. Like,
I can go to the bar. Okay,
so, yeah. So, but yeah, I love this game. Demeo is awesome. Fucking great.
I'm gonna pick this up. You intrigued me with the group role play. You know, sometimes I think combat is the worst part of D&D, mostly unless you have like a really creative group of people.
Yeah.
But if
I would
you're
actually
saying you guys
really
are
agree
role
with you.
playing, I'm in.
Well, because
Yeah.
what we started doing, like Tag Loro was with me when we were doing this. If you were the bard and you sang like a little riff to somebody to inspire them, like you really need to sing something.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
awesome.
yeah, so like you start creating like as if you are hanging out with your friends, and obviously this depends on the kind of friends you got. But I have noticed enough people have this game that it's fun playing with different groups of people, and Yeah, like the singing element of just adding that as a requirement is just so fucking funny and
Yeah.
fantastic. Because then it turns into like some people that are going to be more serious about it, and be like, I just want to heal you. And then it just turns into like some people being like absolutely fucking ridiculous, like, here you go. And like, that's it. But like, it works, it counts.
Need to establish a safe circle of role play in the group so that there are those people who can just get really into it and make. My bard in my D&D session did a cover of Wonderwall at one of the inns they were at about
Fuck
their
yeah.
adventures. And so
My-
now in the universe, everyone sings this Wonderwall song about the escapades of my group. It was pretty awesome.
My yesterday, so unfortunately we had a player drop from the group a couple weeks ago, and so the group dynamic as far as like things like it's usually been like a 5-man team, and so
Did they
sometimes
die in real life?
No, he didn't die in real
Sorry, just had to ask.
Jeez.
life. What do you call it? So not he. In the game, like it's very common for the DM to play a character where it be like a story character to kind of like push the story a certain way sometimes. But I had to introduce a character, not as like a story mechanic, but instead as just like another character to be part of the group. And it's a Minotaur samurai, and his background is that he's a kabuki, which is like one of those actors that like paint their face and like are really emotional on like they overexert all their emotions on stage. And so like during this game I'm like having to like make funny faces and like talk with an accent and stuff, and it's super fun. And like when that role play happens, the game like D&D is a completely different thing. And if that happens in this game, then fuck yeah, play Demeo all day.
Yeah. Bobby, sorry, you can't be invited, dude. I've never seen you. I've never seen the best you role played was when we were playing Pulsar and you got that little voice modulator and you talked like once a session and you were like, "We need to land on the planet."
Yeah, I don't
That's-
do RP.
that's the best-
My
that's the-
jam.
Why
I feel
not,
like this
dude?
game is still good even truly without the RP. It just does allow you to shine with the RP because it is challenging enough because they randomize each level and you have 3 levels till you get to the boss, and that's per book. So there's 3 books out right now. I believe there's 2 more coming out. And so it is fun, and like the combat's generated. There's been a time where I've jumped in the book and like the first level was just like, what the fuck, this is so difficult. Like, and that was cool, but then it's very randomized. But I don't know, I think it's challenging and fun enough even if you don't like to role play. But if you role play, it could make the lack of customization of the character not be like such a negative. You know what I mean? Because you are playing a character that you start to know and develop with these different games, since it's the same 5 people that it could be.
You sold me on.
Hmm.
I want to
I
be
love
there.
this game. Yeah, I
wanna
think
be
I was
there with
being
you
called the
guys.
Demeo fairy, dude. Because yeah, I've been gifting people this game because I'm just like, play this with me. I love this.
I need friends. Please play.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. Buy your friends. Buy them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Don't do that. Have real friends and genuine ones. But yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Last game we got this week is Tap Ninja. And I said that I had some good gaming and some bad gaming. This was the bad gaming. So Tap Ninja is an idle game. And I messed around with a couple of these from time to time. And I've never been really happy with any idle game. Like I kind of like the concept. Like, okay, that's I could see why people would like that, but it's always exploitative. It's always like, here's the hook. At some point, they try to push you into a corner where you have to spend money. So Tap Ninja is actually pretty well designed for this type of game. Some people have complained that it's not very much. It's not totally an idle game. It's kind of a clicker as well. It's a little ninja that runs across a screen. You click the mouse or hit spacebar whenever a samurai or a hellhound pops up, and you kill them and you get gold. Then you spend that gold on upgrades that allow you to make more gold, and then you spend that gold on upgrades that allow you to make more gold. Now you can actually not kill the ninjas. You can generate gold over time. So that's where the idling comes in, I suppose. But the game, I don't know. I played this way too long, and I I just I don't know
Give
what
it.
it is about these games where it's just like, why is it that we like this? Why does this game work? It's so bad. I think I spent 6 hours on this game. I don't know how much of that was
Whoa.
idling though. I could have just let it run for a long periods of time, which I think I did. So I don't know how much of that 6 hours was that. But at a certain point, I'm just like, I got to put this down. Like, I know this is going nowhere. I know like this is completely meaningless, like even more than other video games. But yeah, so I just had to like uninstall it and not look back. But I don't know if you're into these games, this is definitely one of the better ones. I mean, you could not spend money too, but of course, everything's going to take you a lot longer. And it seemed like this kind of got real popular on Steam recently. I just kind of saw it pop up on like new and trending, and I was like, hey, okay, another idle game. I'll see what's up. But I think it started out as a mobile game, so a lot of people are familiar with it from there. But yeah, just get ready to waste way too much time because even the idea is like, okay, it's an idle game. You don't have to be there every second for the game. But then when you're away from it, you're always thinking like, oh, wonder how much I'm making now because you can immediately spend that gold on stuff that makes you more gold. So you're thinking like, maybe I should just check in, click a few things, and increase my gold generation. And it's just pointless. It's a circular gameplay loop.
Mhm.
Just earn
Yeah.
gold to make more gold. To earn, but isn't that life though? Isn't
Oh,
that just
so
Yeah,
deep.
here we go.
Getting
what we're all doing
agnostic
in
right
this
now.
rat race?
Oh, I just make money to spend it. Oh, what's the
uh,
meaning? Um,
yeah.
you sound like actually no, I'm not going to say that. How many gamers do you guys think are just playing these types of games like this is their experience with gaming? Like cuz there's all those idle games, you build your farm in your village. It's basically just like reskin to whatever
Yeah.
theme that you're susceptible
Yeah,
to,
I think the
You know,
term gamer just got expanded a little too far when literally everybody on their phone was playing all these match 3 Candy Crush games,
Yeah.
you know,
but
it's
you got to
funny.
understand. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Have you ever seen like the people that sell accounts for these? Like that sell like for
Oh, like WoW
example,
Gold style.
yeah, like WoW Gold style, like they'll sell accounts for like what's Clash of Clans or whatever. And like they say like the level and everything, all this other stuff. Um and they they make so much money selling those accounts. And like when you see them doing it, you're like, what the fuck is that? Like there's famous videos of people doing like Pokemon Go, and they'll like literally be riding a bike, and like they'll have like 9 phones and just catching Pokemon like on all 9 phones. And like
Oh my god.
obviously that's one where you have to travel, but this is one where you can be still and do it. So
I found a Clash of Cans, the Clash of the Cans for $222, max level 246. That seems like a pretty good deal.
that's a yeah. And it's so crazy because like people like will run like phone emulators and like get numbers and everything just to be able to like create those accounts and everything and then just sell them.
Who
Yeah.
It's
buys them? That's always what I thought. Like, who has
I don't know. There's people. I've met somebody that they had like a second phone, so they created another account, and then every time they played Pokemon Go, they would be playing dual time. So, and they said that they were just building up the one account to sell it because they had a buddy already lined up in real life that was going to buy it off of him once he got high enough. But that's the only time I've ever seen it with that with like Pokemon Go. But it is like they know somebody that's gonna do it, you know.
how
I
can
don't
we
know about anybody from like eBay buying that shit. I know
I
they did
I
that with
know.
RuneScape, but
Ah, dude, people used to buy WoW characters like back in when World of Warcraft first came out. When like you hit level 60, I will never forget that druids sold for the most money, and because they were so universal characters, they were the only class that could heal, tank, and DPS, and so they were really wanted. And they were also known as being the slowest class to level up. And so it wasn't uncommon to see people selling characters for like $300, $400. It's like in like you're just talking about at max level, maybe with a little bit of PvP gear, and that's it. Like I yeah, it's pretty crazy.
we can't complain about pay to win mechanics in games because people will just you know what you know what I'm saying? Like I can't blame a developer being like realizing there's all this underground economic activity around their game and being like, well, why aren't I getting a piece of that pie? You know, people will pay like $300 for a Clans account. Why not make it pay to win so they can just do that in the game and not have to
And
go to.
that's what WoW did. Now you can boost your character to level 70, but there used to be rules where like you'd have to have a level 70 character already. And so it's like they had rules on how you would do it, and now you can literally just buy you can buy an account,
Yeah.
or you can open up an account, you can boost a character immediately. If not, you get
Well,
a
and
free one.
you can buy gold too, basically with the WoW tokens now as well. Yeah, I mean WoW has
Ye-
just been around so long now that they've pretty much had to acquiesce to all the player demands and everything that's come up.
Yeah, it's so gnarly. Um, and I still play it too.
I think
Uh,
going back to your original point though, Bobby, is like, yeah, the definition of what's a gamer has expanded so much because I've met some people before that I'm like, oh, I play PC games, and they're like, oh my gosh, me too, Farmville, it's great, and I'm like, like,
Whoa, you can't sit with us. What are you
have
talking
you played
about?
Treasure of Nadia? Have you played Treasure of Nadia? You're not a real
I
gamer.
mean, not a real gamer. Yeah, you know
yeah,
what the worst question is like when people realize you play video games. I hate when they ask, "Oh, what games do you play?" It's like, yeah, you're not gonna. I'm gonna say like a couple of titles. You might, I never heard of it. You know,
Have you heard of
like
Tap Ninja?
have you heard
yeah.
of Tab Ninja? Have you heard of Demeo? Like it's just these are meaningless words to you. Like, what do you play? Like shit, I don't even know about. You know, like
Get
you
your
know,
mushy brain out of here. You're not gonna
it's
understand what
so
the fuck I play.
it's not even
Don't
that.
even ask.
I feel like gaming is so niche right now. I mean, sure, you got like mainstream and AAA, and a lot of people know the big titles and stuff. But you know, even like it's been a while since we've had a Fortnite too, where we just had one game the rule that ruled them all. You know, like one just tentpole game that everybody knew. How long ago was Fortnite? Long time ago. It's just
Still the game in a way. I feel like.
yeah, it's still a huge game. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely, and everybody knows it. But I just feel like gaming's so niche right now.
I can't wait to be like the uncle because like I have nephews and like brothers and sisters too who play, I don't know, like Minecraft, Fortnite, and Call of Duty. Basically, I'm gonna be like that cool uncle that's like, hey, have you heard about Steam? Come over here. Look at all these cool games that look at the wide world of gaming that you can
And
now
then
be introduced to.
their
Yeah,
parents are gonna be like,
absolutely.
"Don't go to Uncle Chris's house. He's gonna make us all broke."
Yeah.
There's
Oh yeah.
plenty of games that are free on Steam, like the
Uh,
Vampire Battle Royale I just covered.
hey Billy, you're
For,
9. Come check out this
for an
game where you can eat
8-year-old.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Uh, I don't think I've ever like successfully recruited anyone to Steam though. I feel like that's a hard thing to do. People are pretty much entrenched in whatever game they're involved with. It's really hard to be like, oh, you should check this out, you know. And I mean, they might feign interest, but I don't think I've ever really like seen someone make that transition after I like thought I opened them up to something. I don't know.
Rihanna's my greatest. This sounds weird. Rihanna's my greatest accomplishment. Not really, but just because I was playing Steam so much, she loved gaming, but only console gaming before. So once she gets a computer, it's like, oh yeah, all these games are on here, and I can finally play what I want to play instead of watching people play hour-long RPGs like many other girlfriends. The fate of many other girlfriends. I feel like just on the couch watching
Yeah.
no,
stereotypically.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I kind of like what Orconius was saying that we're being somewhat of like gaming hipsters though, and that's true because it's like a gamer these days is just it's like an indie gamer or whatever is very niche in a way, but being a gamer is so widespread now in multiple ways because yeah, because we have things like Candy Crush and Tap Ninja and Pokemon Go and stuff like that. And so for some people that's what works, and whether that's considered like you're a gamer or not, I don't know. I think it's a gray area, and I think all of us coming from a standpoint of like we played video games, like it's very easy to to be like, are you a real gamer though? But I don't know. I think
I
they
don't
all
want
have
to.
their place.
I don't want to say that to people. When I meet someone in real life and they're like, "I'm a gamer," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "I play League of Legends. That's the only game I play." I'm like, "Yeah, you are like I can't say anything,
Yeah,
because."
same.
But there is a part of my mind that's like, you could be more. You
Yeah,
could. I feel like it's almost sad that some people are really into video games, but they haven't explored that there's so many different type. You can be anything you want on games, like you don't have to play
Absolutely.
only the popular ones. But
And there's
anyways,
all kinds of weird games out there and interesting ones and
a
like
bag
fun
of
ones
milk,
amongst the weird
dude.
ones. Yeah. Oh yeah, the bag of milk outside of a
Bag
bag
of
of milk outside
milk.
of a bag of milk, dude. It never
Yeah,
ends. Yeah, it's
yeah.
fantastic. But it's all there if people just check it out. But I mean, yeah, it's some people don't. They just want to sit on their phones and every time they shit, check and see how their farm's doing. But that's cool too.
That's whatever.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
everyone needs to
Yeah.
shit. True. We're like we're pretty. Everyone listening to this podcast is like, yeah, we play games. Like, you don't have to convince us on this
Yeah, we're
monologue.
going down the weeds of just shit that everybody knows that we don't need to speak about. So, yeah, that was some fun games with this. Did anybody play any of the game of the week? Project Zomboid, speaking of shit.
No, I think we're gonna turn this into the game of the weeks, obviously, because
Yeah.
Emilio's not here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, I played a tiny bit of it, but nothing too like in depth. So
I'll
Yeah, I
look
haven't
to
started
cover it
yet.
next week. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
That-
we'll play it next week. Apparently, I
Oh,
do
yeah.
have the game though, so I would love to play some.
apparently,
Yeah,
it's in my library.
no, I knew I did because I remember playing this with Emilio, and I looked at my Steam account and it did tell me, yeah, you played this back in 2014, 20 might have been 2014, I think was the last time I played it. So yeah, it's been sitting there for a while. But yeah, we will talk more about that next week.
Absolutely.
You
Um,
got. Oh, sorry, Bobby. I know you're about to surprise us. Please.
oh, yeah, big surprise here, big reveal. It is our 440th episode, so I thought it might be nice to kind of look back on some of our previous episodes. So if you go to our website, dlgaming.net, there is a little search icon that you can click on, and you can type the name of any game you want in there, and it'll tell you which episodes we talked about that game. So we get a lot of people suggest this game or that, or hey, have you ever talked about this game? And yeah, we have. Just type it in that little search bar and you can see all the episodes that we've talked about it. And this is actually pretty useful for another reason too. So I'm pretty good about tagging everything that we talk about in these episodes. And when I go to post them, it says, here are your top 10. Do you want to use any of these? And we did this once in the past. We talked about our top 10 games and I guess topics that have come up consistently. Now, remember, these are the ones that come up consistently episode after episode because they get tagged multiple times. But there has been a little bit of movement in there. So I thought it'd be a good time to review that. But before I read the top 10 here, any guesses on what are the games or topics that we have talked about the most on this podcast over the entire 9 years that we've been doing this?
Team
Team
Fortress
Fortress.
2.
Yeah, Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2 is not on the list.
Oh my god,
Whoa.
no.
Yeah.
CSGO? Is CSGO on there?
CSGO is not on the list.
The
No.
term
What?
the term roguelike or roguelite.
No, that is not on there. Wow, you guys are striking out.
Divin-
Whoa.
Divinity
Warhammer is not.
Original Sin 2.
Nope, Divinity Original Sin 2 is not on there. And you see, that's where a lot of people get into the pitfalls is they think like, oh, that's a pretty popular game, but that's a short window of time. That came out like what, 20, that came out kind of recently. So in chat, someone's guessing Warhammer. No, Nick, you haven't been around long enough, so Warhammer is not coming up.
Thanks.
Yeah, and the problem with Warhammer too is I feel like there's different Warhammer games. So if we
Oh,
put them all
yeah.
together, they would probably be in the top 10, but the specific games are tagged individually. Deep Rock Galactic was also mentioned in chat, so that has moved up to the number 3 spot now.
Oh wow.
Deep Rock
That is
Galactic.
all you,
Yeah,
by the way.
that's me. Yeah, and they had that season 2 update. Didn't even talk about it this week. That's coming next week. Get
So
ready.
proud.
you are
So
now.
proud of you, dude.
Look at me, I'm holding myself back.
Yeah. Now, the last time we did this, if you remember it, our very top games were all Blizzard games. Now, Deep Rock has kind of risen in the ranks to dethrone a few of them, but it's still very much all Blizzard games up there in the top 5. So there's a hint. Any more guesses? Binding of
Well,
Isaac? No, nope. No
I'm
Binding
thinking
of
World
Isaac
of
in the top 10.
Warcraft.
World of Warcraft is number 5.
Is Heroes of the Storm still up there,
Diablo?
too?
Heroes of the Storm is number 1 and will never be.
God
there.
damn
I
it.
talked about that game straight for like
What's-
4 years.
What's the number? What's the tag number? Just out of curiosity, so I got some reference points here.
I don't know. I don't know how many There are. I didn't do that much research, but yes,
Okay.
Heroes of the Storm is number one. And okay, guess for Overwatch. Overwatch is number two. Apparently, we talked about Overwatch quite a bit. That's kind of a surprise to me.
Wow. Speaking of,
Um,
Overwatch 2 looks like a fucking joke.
yeah, well, we all knew that. And then Deep Rock Galactic at number three, and another Blizzard game, Hearthstone, at number four. Really
Wow.
surprised about that. Yeah, yeah, seems odd, right?
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, number five. Now, in number six, the game that started it all with the podcast, Smite. After all these years,
Oh
Smite is
wow.
still number six. That was like all we talked about in the early years back in 2013 when we started this podcast. And yeah,
That's crazy.
okay. Number seven, this one's my fault too. Killing Floor 2.
Oh yeah.
That
Jeez.
comes up a lot. Number eight is PUBG. I guess I
Oh
can see
yeah.
that. That was
Gross.
huge. Number nine is just Steam. Just Steam. It's,
Accurate. Yeah.
We
Actually, that
love
should be number
Steam.
2. We do love
Yeah.
Steam. Yeah.
Steam should be in every episode, right? I guess they're
yeah.
in the news a lot, so you would tag them as Steam.
Yeah, or if they had a big update or a new feature or something, then they would
When's the
come
last
up.
time that happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Steam. Okay. And then in number 10, a bit of a surprise, League of Legends. Because I don't really consider any of us big league players, and anyone that's been on the
Mhm.
podcast has not really been a serious league player.
Oh,
So
what
I'm
about
kind
Chi?
of
Used to be.
Yeah.
was she? I don't.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I can't quite
I
remember.
don't think so. Ray got into it, but that was after he left the podcast. I dabbled in it a few times. Then Team Fight Tactics or whatever, or Tactics came up, but
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I think League has just been kind of sprinkled in throughout the years so much it has accumulated. But that's it. That's the top 10. Are there any games that you are surprised are not on there?
I think just quick. I looked up the numbers. I'm logged into the site right now. What do you guys think? What percentage of all episodes is Heroes of the Storm?
Was it what was
18%.
just showing on your calculator on your screen?
40%.
Yeah.
40.
Well, if you're gonna cheat, sure, Bobby.
Because I thought I saw like 9%.
It was 10%. 10% of the 444 episodes. 44 tags of Heroes of the Storm. So
Okay.
that's quite hefty. Surprised? I'm surprised about Divinity Original Sin because I think whenever it's been played, it's been talked about like 3 or 4 weeks in a row because that's kind of how long you might play it with some friends for.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it has come up a lot, but I don't know. And I feel like Divinity Original Sin 2 comes up all the time in casual conversation, not as a topic that was posted in advance on our
Right.
show notes. I feel
I'm,
like the game just comes up through
I'm looking at the
conversation.
I wonder if
numbers.
it's
Then
on
I'm
there.
surprised that Sea of Thieves hasn't popped up more then.
I think we need
Ah.
more time with Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves will
Yeah,
start creeping. It's
it's
got to
going to
at
start
least
creeping
replace
up there.
Hearthstone. Yeah. Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone. I'm just Hearthstone. Really? Emilio played a lot of that back in the day, so I feel like that one and Smite are just from the early years. So
Oh
might have
yeah, or
been that.
Magic the Gathering
Yeah,
Arena.
exactly. Magic the
Surprised that's not
Gathering.
on
How
there.
is that not on there yet? That
Oh,
one's
jeez.
definitely coming up. We'll see. I know Emilio swore it off, but we'll see about
Do you
that.
tag it
Yeah, the
every
new set's
time?
not.
Maybe you're just like, don't tag it.
No,
Yeah,
no,
this
I
seems
do
a little
tag it. And
sus.
also I make sure to tag things properly too. You guys don't make it easy sometimes when you put things in the show notes, but I try to tag everything the same way, the same time. So I don't put like MTG one week and then Magic : The Gathering the next week. It's got to be exact so it matches.
I try to clean it up at the end and make sure everything's standard, but
Oh,
I
you should
probably
have seen
still
it
fuck
before
that
you
up.
came along, man. It was a real shit show.
If you combine Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2 for the amount of tags, it surpasses Smite on the top 10. So if I know those aren't the same game,
They
but
don't count.
Okay.
sorry.
We need accumulation of Warhammer is what we need because I
I was
know
gonna
Oh,
there's
say,
been.
jeez.
yeah, Nick. Nick's like that cannot
Stop! You're
count if Warhammer
embarrassing
doesn't.
me.
Oh god. Jeez.
That was
Single.
fun, Bobby. What a nice little surprise.
Yeah, that is really awesome, man.
Yeah, and it's going to have to be a long time before we do this again because we did this at least a year ago, probably more than a year ago. And the only change is Deep Rock moving up to number 3 over Hearthstone. Or I don't know, it might have been even lower than that. But yeah, it's just, this doesn't change very often. So
Orconius is saying no CS:GO. I remember a period of like when I started first listening to the podcast, whatever, 4 years ago. It was like on every single episode.
Mm.
mhm.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I'm.
maybe I need to check and make sure it's CS:GO and not Counter Strike Global Offensive.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so they could
So that
be.
was covered for a long amount of time, every day or every time.
Mhm. There was a lot of CS:GO.
A
Yeah.
lot of CS:GO.
But
Makes
again, that might have been one that just came up in conversation and not wasn't like in the show notes.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right. Well, enough of
Yeah.
that bit. So you can check that out on our website. Click that little search icon and search for whatever. Do your own research. All right.
Very good.
So let's move on to listener questions.
all right.
I think we missed some from last week. Last week we were like, we had one question and that was it. And we're like, oh, that's strange. But apparently we just missed them. So we apologize about that in advance. But the first one comes from Comfy Unicycle. He says, what's the first game that really
Hold up.
grabbed you?
That guy's fucking username. Yo, thank you for that. I needed that laugh.
Yikes. All right. What's the first game that really grabbed your attention as a PC gamer? For me, it was watching my dad play Oregon Trail and Age of Empires that really got me hook, line, and sinker. Age of
Um,
Empires 2 was a huge game for me. The first paycheck I ever made, I spent on that game. And that was definitely like, it wasn't like my first PC gaming experience. I mean, that would have to be, that would have to be those really old games like Wolfenstein, Jill of the Jungle, Secret Agent, like playing on Windows 3.1. Commander Keen. I had a neighbor who had that game, blew my mind. You know, the shareware days.
oh
So
yeah.
pretty much all those games. But the one that like hooked me and was like, this is it. I'm a PC gamer now was obviously Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. Like that was like no turning back at that point.
I had
Hmm.
I forget, some sort of game I forget, but I remember playing some Star Wars games on it, and I was probably going to be a console player. But then Star Wars Rebellion came out for PC. I think that was one of my first PC games. It was either that or the old like Red Alert. Um, and then yeah, I was hooked from there because there was no RTSs on console for a really long
Yeah,
time.
that's true.
Yeah, a love story, of RTSs.
Yeah, and when they did bring RTSs to the console, I don't think it really took too well. There was that Halo one that
Yeah,
they
Halo
really got
Wars.
Halo Wars. They got really creative with the controls and like we're gonna make this work. It's gonna be groundbreaking and
That was one of the best ones. The other one was that Lord of the Rings game. Did you guys ever play
Oh, I
that?
remember
Battle for
that.
Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I remember it,
Yeah.
but I didn't play it. Yeah.
They had a pretty intuitive like controller way to play it on console. That was fun because not a lot of my other friends had PCs, so um, multiplayer. I had to play console with them. So if it was RTSs, we would take turns on the chair.
yeah.
There's only so much fun you can have watching someone play an RTS behind them.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, Command and Conquer was a big one for me as well.
For me, my first one that really grabbed my attention was I was not I was really young and I was not allowed to play Doom, and my cousin had installed it on my grandfather's computer, but you know, being of the age where you know way more about computers than your grandparents do. I just waited till my grandpa went to sleep and then I logged onto the computer and I played Doom, and that was the first game that
That's
I
awesome.
was like, I love this. I was only allowed to play the Garden, some like Jesus RTS game, dude, of
Jesus
like God.
RTS? Wait,
No. It wasn't RTS. It was exactly like the Oregon Trail, but of the Garden of Eden or something. And it was a total Jesus. I don't even really remember it much because the game was trash, and I was only focused on like pretending like I was playing it, so that way then my grandpa would get bored and go to bed, so then I could play Doom.
what are the challenges in the Garden of like you ate the apple?
It was
Eternal damnation.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
Oh
like,
yeah.
would you eat the apple even though God has told you that you cannot? And like,
Wait,
it's like,
I already know the answer. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
it
eat
was
it this time.
stupid. The game was garbage, dude. It was terrible. So I was like, no, I'm
Mhm.
playing Doom. But then also too, growing up, like we played a lot of consoles, and the one game that really solidified like being a true PC gamer was Warcraft, like the original. Well, Warcraft 3. Sorry,
Yeah,
Warcraft 3
Warcraft
much
3,
earlier.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved it. Oh man, I was like, this is great. And then I got into StarCraft. in StarCraft 2 because of that, and I'm just
That
like,
was the nail in the coffin. Would you say when Warcraft 3 came out? I
it was.
probably have the most hours in that game
I
on the
loved
custom
it, and
maps though.
especially I was gonna say, and being able to make your own custom map, like, ugh, loved it. It was awesome.
What about you, Nick? What
I
was formative?
so I saw Doom a lot growing up, and I saw Quake and a bunch of other ones. For me though, like the thing that like I was like, PC gaming is the future. Is Counter Strike 1.6. So like growing up, my brother went to a high school, obviously, and I would get out of school earlier than he would, and I would have to walk to his high school, and we would walk home and stuff. Essentially, there was a cyber cafe there, and you would pay $5 an hour to play any game you wanted on the computers. And there was like Unreal Tournament and all this other stuff, but we would just play Counter Strike and just play like you'd play Counter Strike, and all the other kids in there would be kids waiting for like their older siblings and stuff. And yeah, I just remember like yeah, multiplayer is like the the future because like I was so locked into playing multiplayer on PlayStation and stuff, and at the time the PS2 didn't have like the capability to go online yet. So being able to play like 6 versus 6 was like insane to me. So
Was
yeah.
gaming better? This is a little bit of a off the track query. Was gaming better when it was a community thing, like when you went with your friends to like a computer cafe, or when
I absolutely, I
like
definitely think so, at
we're
least.
missing something about it, you know? Like LAN parties are so fun. Everyone loves it. I mean, it's good you can play remote, with your buds. That's cool. But like it's been a while since I was in person with people with my PC, and we like, we had a really fun time.
I can
Yeah,
remember
every
playing
time.
Call of Duty 4 with all of my friends. They had 6 computers at one of the cafes, but one of our friends owned the cafe. So when he
Sick.
closed, yeah, when he closed, he was like, "Hey, everybody, come over." And so like, I worked at Dairy Queen, so I'd bring a bunch of blizzards and shit.
Oh hell yeah!
Hell yeah, you're the friend of everyone
And
wants
then,
days.
yeah, and then
You
I'd
just
show
show
up
up, all
at
the
noon,
blizzards are upside down. You're like, "What's up? Who wants fucking
they look
Reese's,
frozen
bro?"
as fuck.
They're
But
all
yeah,
real.
dude. Yeah, yeah. And so I bring everybody blizzards, and then like he would give us like Monster and shit to drink, and then we would all just land up and play Call of Duty 4 against each other on the PC. That shit was great. And then we play a lot of Left 4 Dead as well, and was a Guitar Hero and Rock Band because he had a whole setup and things like that. But I really gravitated towards computer and playing Call of Duty 4 with everybody. And yeah, that shit is amazing to LAN like that. And I miss LANing with Age of Empire where we all Ethernet cabled into each other. Shows, yeah, you can't really get that as much anymore. I mean, like you'd have to make more of an effort, obviously, of it, instead of like having the yearly guys fishing trip. It's like the yearly LAN party.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we
Isn't there
should.
isn't there like a
That was
convention?
QuakeCon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't there a
QuakeCon,
convention?
biggest land in the world.
True.
I know nothing about. Do they only play Quake? Is this a dumb question? I know nothing about QuakeCon. Sorry.
No, I think like in the early days, yeah, it was like only it games or Bethesda. But no, you go there, you play whatever you want, but it's huge.
Oh, cool.
It's enormous. I mean, I went back in 2016, so I imagine things have been different since then. But they stream it all. It happens in August in like Dallas or Austin, so it's blazing hot. But it is it's like a real land party. It's just a sea of computers. People set up like little decorations and everything. Like Harambe was real big when the year I went. That's how long ago it was. So they have like Harambe shrines and stuff. I got pictures somewhere. I'll post them in Discord.
Oh
But
man.
Please post
yeah,
in Discord. That's
it
really
was
funny.
crazy, man. It was just like everywhere you look, everyone's got their PC out, and everybody's playing different things. Sometimes there's like little pockets of people playing the same thing
I
here and
need to
there.
know what I do before I die. Like this is it. Like go to a huge LAN party.
Yeah,
Sick.
QuakeCon. I wouldn't mind making another trip. I'd do it a little differently. I stayed with a friend that time. I think I'd just pay the extra money and get a room in the hotel where it's happening. But yeah, man, it's an experience if you've never done it. They do have like an exhibition hall, but it's not very big and it's not very crowded. It's not like a lot of these other ones that you go to. They got like a few things there, like a few new games you could play or like it's very hardware focused too. It's like some pretty hardcore PC gamer nerd stuff. So if
Yeah,
you're into that,
there's actually old.
2023. Can we all go?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be a little late this year. We'll be in Dallas, but yeah, we should try to get a QuakeCon
That
trip
would be
going.
awesome
I'd
before
be
I
down for
die.
that.
Sick. Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Oh,
Yeah,
guys, we'd have some. Oh,
because
we
you
should
book
throw
it.
our own QuakeCon. We should call it like
DLG Con, I think.
DLG something like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, I
look,
do really want to go to QuakeCon. Like,
Uh,
no word of sarcasm. August 18th to August 20th. Is it usually in August? That'd be cool.
mhm. Yeah, it's
uh,
almost always in August if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
Good
a
luck.
there's an
Dallas.
old there's an old photo of like one of the original QuakeCons, and everybody in there is shirtless. Like to include like the female players and like a bunch of other people. Like it gets so hot in there that it's just like disgusting.
Oh no,
But
dude, not anymore. It's freezing cold, and that's one thing that when I went with somebody who lived out in Texas who had been several times, and he kind of explained everything to me. He's like, dude, you've got to dress warm. I know this is Dallas in the middle of August, but when you get into the land, they they run the AC so high that you will be freezing in there. You'll be freezing cold, so you
wow.
actually
Well,
have to
yeah, I think
bundle up.
yeah, you've got all those computers and shit. You don't want them to be overheating because it's
Hmm.
hot and they're kicking all the heat out and it's just
Yeah.
rows of
And
heat
it was
generators.
like an ice box in there. At first I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is kind of nice, especially because you step outside and it's just like, if you've ever experienced Dallas heat, you know what I'm talking about. It's like an oven. But you go back in there and at first you're like, oh, it's pretty nice in here. And then after about half an hour, you're just like, okay, my fingers are going numb. But
okay.
That's pretty.
2023, guys. It's a year and some away. If we make plans now, I would love to. Let's slice out
let's
some
do it.
time.
Yeah, God, I had a great time. They demoed. They had a presentation for Prey that year. God, there was so many cool things that were happening there. Yeah,
Awesome.
good time.
I'm
All
down.
right,
That sounds exciting.
back to listener questions. Zap's got a few. Outside of the Steam Deck, have you tried any gaming on Linux or using Linux in general? Any thoughts? I'm guessing you guys haven't.
Never have.
No.
No,
No,
yeah,
never.
that Mimi brain don't work good. Mimi don't understand Linux.
Oh
I mean, I
man,
do.
Linux.
I understand the concept and everything. I just don't want to
you know
know
that
it.
it's an operating system.
Yeah, and
Linux
Oh
I,
is
and I
the
yeah.
know a bunch of
penguin.
other
Yeah.
stuff with like bootloaders and stuff like that, but I'm
Is the
just like, yeah,
penguin
I'm good off
Linux?
that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's the icon for Linux. But there's like 1,000 distros out there. So, there's a million different kinds. I myself have used mostly Kubuntu, which is Ubuntu with KDE instead of the GNOME desktop environment. It's just a little slicker, a little flashier. But I actually did use it for gaming, just kind of as like an experimental thing. I dual booted for a while, and it was Windows and Kubuntu, and the performance was not that great. Like the frames per second, I remember playing a lot of TF2 on the Linux box, and the frame rate wasn't as good, and weird little things like the font would be different or different from what I was used to. And yeah, I didn't like it very much. But there's actually a lot of support out there for gaming on Linux now. It's not like it used to be. It's a lot better and it's a lot more games. There's a lot more wider support, I guess. You can play a lot more games on it. Um, and I'm not sure how the performance is, but you can also load this thing up called Wine, which allows you to run Windows applications on Linux, and you can use that to play some games that won't run natively. But Linux is really just not for gaming. If you're running Linux, you're doing it for another reason, and then maybe you want to game on that machine just out of convenience. But if Windows is still, even though we all got problems with it, Windows is still the best platform to game on now. All right, you guys look thoroughly engaged.
No, hey, you learned. Wait,
Class
what am I
is
supposed
in
to rebuttal?
session.
Yes, Linux. Yes, a fine man's gentleman's operating
Mhm.
system.
Wine,
Uh,
yes.
yeah, yeah. All right, another question from Zap. What one game issue will immediately make you uninstall or return a game?
Poor matchmaking. Like if it takes me more than 10 minutes to get into a party with my friends, or like to get in the same game as my friends, I will return your game. Like there's essentially a squad clone, but set in World War II, and it was pretty difficult to get, like when it first came out, to get into a game, and yeah, it was annoying as shit.
Oh, Postscriptum. Yeah.
Yeah, Postscriptum. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
So
bit challenging. I recently booted up Skyrim because Rianne's never played it. I booted it up yesterday and we got a little comfy and sat down and took turns playing through, but I couldn't get the intro to work for the longest time. I loaded up the game, fresh install,
like the
and
intro movie.
the first scene where it's like, "Hey, you're awake," and you're on that
Oh,
cart. My
mhm.
horses were running. My horses were like flying through the air, and the cart was like doing this rubber banding thing, and
Mhm.
so the game wouldn't start. And I
Oh,
restarted it. I uninstalled all my mods. I tried to do it again and again, and the cart would get a little bit further every time. But I wouldn't be able to get through the gate, and then I would like go flying. The horses would make these terrible noises, like they were dying constantly, and it was. And I was like telling Rand, I was like, I swear it's a good game, Skyrim, one of the best games of all time. And finally, I looked it up, and it's because if your FPS is too fast, the horses they run into these bees at the start, and these bees are objects that have pathfinding, and they screw with the horses, and they end up launching them space basically. So anything technical that you can't skip a first cutscene that breaks a game on thin ice.
that's
I
insane.
I feel like just in general, I don't get into the situation a lot because just the way things are now, I you really know what you're getting into when you load up a game. Like if you get to the point where you've already installed a game, like you know what you're getting into. I feel like there's usually not any surprises. That being said, if there's like microtransaction actions or like something is like very obviously like trying to exploit me, then I that's a huge turn off and I will probably uninstall or stop playing. But then again, like that's usually pretty obvious from the get go.
Yeah.
Oh,
What was that battle
$80.
royale in the snow? Do you remember? Like where it was like it came out like last year, but like everybody was freaking out about it, and like I remember like the game to a point was like pay to win because all of the classes that were locked were way better than the default classes, and you
Yeah,
actually had to play a smidge.
Bobby and Yanko and me played some of this, I believe, when it came out. Maybe you too, Nick. When
Yeah, I did. I played
Yeah.
like probably like 6 or 7 hours of it. I just
Yeah,
can't
I
remember.
remember that game, and there was something that I liked about it too. I remember they did something a little differently. It was like that three player team where you
yeah,
drop into the world, and then you'd like do a bunch of stuff, and then you try to get out. You could just leave early with
Yeah,
what you've
and there was like
gathered.
world bosses to fight, and
Hmm.
like
there's lots of PVE, which was cool in Battle
yeah,
Yeah.
Royale.
Yeah, like initially I thought like, oh, they got some interesting things going on here, but it was still a battle royale game that I just wasn't eh, that into, and that wasn't much of a future for me. But yeah, what was that game called? Do not
Was it called
remember.
Ring of Elysia? Does that
No,
sound familiar?
no.
No?
no, that sounds familiar, but I'm pretty sure that's another type of game.
Who knows? I guess we'll never know. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, Sniper. I think if the game is game breaking in terms of its bug to where it's real big pain in the ass to play, then that yeah, I'm gonna uninstall it and stop playing it.
All right, one more question from Zap. What's in your pockets or purse right now? And if it's something weird, why is it there?
Right now it is. Man, what do I have in my
Oh my god, I have a tiny pig! Just a phone. Sorry, everyone.
pocket? No,
And
I
the
have.
only thing I ever carry in my pockets is keys and my phone.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, nothing too interesting in my
Wait,
pockets.
you've never put anything else in your pocket? Ever?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in my life, I'm sure I put other stuff in my
Well, I'm just saying,
pockets.
you just said I never carry anything else in my pocket except my keys, like as a rule. Like, I don't put anything else in there.
I mean, not as like a hard and fast rule, but there's usually nothing else in my pockets other than that.
You ever
Yeah.
put your hands in your pockets?
Oh, someone found it.
No.
The game's called Scavengers, by the way.
Oh,
Scavengers was the name.
scavengers.
Thank
Nice.
Scavengers
you,
was the game.
Raging Cajun. Thank you, Ragin. Thank you, Raging Cajun 45. Yeah.
So, like the typical girl that I am, I have a big old purse and a bunch of shit in it. I'm not gonna go through everything in it because we would be here for a very long time. Some of the random things include a lint roller because I have cats.
Yes. Yep.
A
This
Glock.
one's my favorite. The passport to national parks where you
Oh.
can go to different national parks and get stamps based on when you went to these places. That's when I went to Philadelphia.
That's
March
awesome.
27th, 2021.
I need a
So
purse.
this thing is fantastic. I go everywhere to get my little stamps. And then there is a national monument here in San Diego, the Cabrillo National Monument. I can't get a stamp for that here. But what I can get, the other thing random in my purse, is you can get travel stamps from the National Park Service. And this
Jesus.
is where, yeah, dude, I stand the National Park Service so much. I'm such a fucking fan. But coming from such a flat land like Michigan, where we have 3 parks and 2 of them are inaccessible, I didn't know this was a real fucking thing. And so I love it. But you can get like, I have like a Grand Canyon little park stamp, but it's cool because it's like, the stamps you if you were mailing shit. I don't know why I always have it in my purse because you never know when you find a good park to get a stamp.
This is so wholesome. Thank you for
Jeez.
that. Oh,
Yeah, and then I just have gum because you always need gum. So,
nice.
Gum is good. You know
there you
what?
go.
I carry a backpack a lot, especially if I'm at work. I always have my backpack, and I guess that's kind of like having a purse. I've got a whole lot of stuff in there. I mean, I just got like adapters and batteries and Ethernet cables and USB cables and all sorts of stuff. Little inspector gadget thing going on there, and of course my laptop.
Hell yeah, it's your survival pack, dude. I have a hiking day pack that's like that, and all it has is like first aid, water,
Mm.
snacks, like things like that in
No,
it.
I don't have any of
In case I
that.
need to survive. Yeah, but you have it to survive for electronics. That's
Yeah, in the modern world, a
that's
modern world
right.
survival
Yeah,
pack.
exactly.
Yep, it's got batteries and half a Bitcoin and
There you go.
everything you need.
A handful of NFTs, you're good to go, dude.
Oh yeah. I
All
have
right.
literally nothing in my pockets. So
Okay. And I feel like I don't know. Women's clothes don't really have pockets, do they? Like that's not a. It's
Yeah,
not
they
like
do.
guys. Oh, they do.
That,
Okay.
they didn't for a while, but now it is a big thing too, and companies are paying attention. So now every dress that probably doesn't, it probably shouldn't, but every dress now has pockets. Yeah,
Mm,
and a lot of our jeans have pockets. So
nice. All right. Questions from Warconius. Did anyone from the podcast play Wasteland 3? I'm playing it now in co-op, and to be honest, enjoying it more than Divinity Original Sin 2. The humor is fantastic, and I love the perk system. What are your top CRPGs of all time? Wasteland 3. Okay, so Emilio's not here, unfortunately, but I remember him playing this game when it was in early access, and he didn't like it at first. And then he went back and played it a long time later and really enjoyed it. I remember this was one of those games that I always remember, just like, you gotta, with the early access thing, you really got to come back and revisit the game because they could make a lot of improvements. This was like one of those cases. But I myself have never played it. In fact, I don't think I've ever played a Wasteland game. Maybe a little bit of two a long, long time ago just to check it out. But this is one franchise that I just was never a part of.
this game, Wasteland 3, caught me at a really good time when I was in between assignments. So I put quite a few hours into it off of Game Pass because I think it's still on Game Pass, but that's when I got it and played it. Um, and it's really good. I'm such a sucker for CRPGs though. Like I do like a lot of them. So this one was no different, and I really I thought the humor was one of the best parts of this game because I still remember that it was a funny game. Um, but for me, I don't know, my favorite CRPGs is going to be definitely, I mean, besides Divinity Original Sin 2, which I think is going to be most people's favorite, definitely Disco Elysium for me, hands down. Although Game Deck was really good as well, and there's a CRPG that I played for a while called, I think, Final Absolution that was really good too. Let
What
me
what
double check
makes
that.
something like C is computer RPG? Like, is that just like a certain style? I'm not really big into CRPGs. When you say Disco Elysium and like this Wasteland 3 game, I'm imagining like XCOM 2. Is that a CRPG or?
I
no,
actually,
because
I've never
isn't
played
XCOM now on
XCOM
your
2.
phone?
It's a tactical turn-based game. I don't know. For me, like a CRPG is just an RPG, but a little more complex or advanced that requires, that caters more towards a PC gamer, like something that you probably wouldn't fly as well on a console. Like maybe you'd have some difficulty because the controls or whatever on there. It just wouldn't really be that acceptable on a console. So I don't know. I just always kind of regarded CRPGs as like advanced RPGs, like RPGs, but like really a little more hardcore, I guess.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for me,
I don't play a
it
lot of these
kind of
games.
for me like there's also too like the whole angle of somewhat of like a top down, and they don't always have to be like story rich, but they do tend to be more story rich because they're more complicated, as you were kind of saying, and complex.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's gonna be like skill trees, and to a certain extent choices matter, I think, are also applied into this, because yeah, if you're role playing, then your choices would matter based on the role that you're playing and shit. But I do think that there's a type of aesthetic and a type of way that CRPGs are, and I do think that like Divinity Original Sin 2 and Wasteland 3, like they're good examples of that. But I would argue Disco Elysium's also a phenomenal example of it too. um but and they all kind of have like similar aesthetics and stuff as well, at least to me. But that's a really open-ended way. Yeah, just like an RPG that's on a computer.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Star
Is
Wars ones, I guess those would count, right? Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
oh really? Wait,
Or is that just like a
Yeah,
general
I
RPG?
think I think well, yeah,
I
that's
thought those were console ports to PC. I mean, and when you play them, it kind of. I recently playing Coder 2, and it's like very evident that it was not meant for a PC.
oh.
Well,
Well, Marconius has specified that he's in his context that he's talking about, they usually have a lot of options and openness for CRPG, kind of like an open world concept with that. Then it's like, is Skyrim CRPG?
I don't, but I think you're onto something with like the isometric viewpoint. Like I know what the games look like. I just don't, know what exactly. I couldn't describe you description of what a CRPG. But if I saw one, I'd be like, yeah, like Divinity Original Sin 2. I feel like that is a CRPG probably.
It's a classic one. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 would be another CRPG. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's yeah, but that's they are isometric RPGs as well. So it's yeah, it's a I don't know, it's a fine line. It's an interesting thing.
all right. Well, one more question here. Anyone from DLG Discord in London, England? Impromptu DLG hangout in London on May 7th. I've got a free evening and platform. Seems cool. That's also from Warconius. Yeah, and if you follow that link there, platform appears to be kind of like a barcade, I guess, but a little different. It doesn't just have the arcade cabinets. You rent like a booth and you sit down and you get, what is it, like an hour or two to play games. So a
So
little
kind of going
different.
back to the cafe, like the gaming
Hmm.
cafe, but a modernized one. That would
Yeah.
be interesting if they started adding those, because the bringing back arcades themselves are big and booming now with beer and like cider arcades and things like that. They're everywhere. I wonder if they are going to bring back gaming cafes to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, this one has like actual gaming people.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's
that would be
interesting.
neat because yeah, I've been to quite a few arcades, but I never really went to an arcade, so the nostalgia doesn't really hit me. And
Yeah.
for most about what I've seen there, like no one is really taking it too seriously. They're just like drinking and playing some ping pong. So
Yeah, it's just like something fun to do. It's not really like you don't go there because you want a game. You go there
yeah.
because you want to drink, and then it's like the gaming is just kind of a little distraction, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you go to those barcades and like they sh- the cabinets are always busted beyond belief, and it's just and you have to like buy $10 worth of quarters, and then you just like walk around clanking these quarters. Like you're not gonna spend all that, like
Hey,
probably not.
Clanka.
Oh,
um,
jeez.
we do have quite a few listeners from the UK. I'm not sure any in London, but Bobby, you remember that podcast you went on a while ago, or at least I think went on the PC Gamer UK podcast,
What?
or UK PC Gamer podcast. One of our listeners
Oh,
asked. It
the
was like
Horrible
three.
Gamers podcast?
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing, but
Yeah.
in our community and their community, the PC Gamer UK podcast, there's a bunch of overlap. I
Okay.
joined their Discord just to like check it out, and quite a few of our patrons are also patrons for them. So if you're listening to this, you can meet one of our listeners, Warconius, and he gives really good back massages. He loves hearing about uh, poetry from the 18th century, and he loves his beard touched. Dip your hand in some olive oil and then just stroke it. That's what he really likes. You meet him, those are my tips to you.
Yikes. Because that was
Nice.
super enticing of a sell, I'm sure. So you can always DM him through Discord, which is Warconius Shun. He might still be going off of Discord. And if you haven't joined Discord yet, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. You need to do it. It's on, once again, our website, dlgaming.net. The link.
All right. Well, I think that's a show. What's everybody playing next week besides Project Zombo?
More squad. I'm also gonna try to check out Chivalry 2. I heard that got an update, so check it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and play some. I'm gonna try and get some Star Citizen to work to play it a little bit more, and probably more Treasures of Nadia and Wanderer. I've been playing a little bit more of Wanderer, but I didn't get much further. I basically found a hook, attached it to a fishing pole, caught a frog, licked it, and tripped balls, and like that was it. So I'm serious, like
Jeez.
rainbows grew out of the frog and like grass grew. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. But that I didn't, it was like 5 minutes. So I didn't think it was worth talking about. But I want to keep playing more of The Wanderer on VR.
All right.
Cool.
Songs of Conquest, I think, is coming out May 5th.
Oh
and
yeah, that's hype, dude.
yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I don't know, maybe I'll check that out. But I really do want to play some Sea of Thieves, and I know I say that every week, and I realized that I don't know how long it's been like this, but I have been on invisible on Steam, so people can't see what I'm playing or when I'm playing. So I will have to fix that. But I'll just have to post something too. I just really got to put the effort out and try to get something going. So yeah, some Sea of Thieves, maybe some Back for Blood, and probably something new. It is kind of weird with Sea of Thieves right now because they've got this whole tie-in with Pirates of the Caribbean, like front and center. So there's Johnny Depp's likeness like all over this game, which is just kind of weird considering everything that's going on now with the trial, which I have not been following. I've been like actively avoiding it.
Dude, it's so weird in your country that you can have like this media like cameras are allowed in the courtroom, and it makes it like this media circus before a verdict has been read, right?
Yeah,
It's
these
really
high-profile cases. Yeah, it's like a soap opera or something, man, or like like an HBO like dramatic series. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
yeah, it's
nothing
all I
says
see on YouTube.
nothing says liberty and fairness like turning it into a reality TV show. So
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so weird. Everyone's talking about it. I hear it on the radio. I'm like, man, you shouldn't be able to, after the court is settled, that's the time to like go through everything and make fun of it, talk about it. But while it's going on, it's so weird.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy.
they
America.
don't care. Just be sure to hit like and subscribe. That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be playing Amber Heard and Johnny Depp on YouTube next week. I'll be catching up on all the things. So
Jesus.
I'll be playing.
It is gossip. All right. Well, that's a wrap. Nobody knows how to end the show without Emilio here.
Nope. So fumbling titties, I guess.
Fumbling titties. Also, I don't have an outro, so yep. That's happening.
All right. So I guess we'll just cut it right here. No outro music.
Cut it.
Nice.
Click.